strength of the league and how it prepares you for the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, we are in the toughest conference. I think 5 of the 6 are in our conference going to nationals, so we do play the top teams all year round. I mean, not this year, but the second semester we have, so it does prepare you. You get to know them a bit, you get film on them, you get to design whatever you want to do against them. So having that knowledge going into nationals is, I think, a really big factor for us.
What has been the toughest part when you've had games canceled and you're ready to go, you're preparing for that team, and then that game is canceled? How do you guys get back into it for the next week?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty hard. You kind of get stuck in practice mode, and I think that's happened to us a couple times. Even when we get to the first game of a 2-game series, we're kind of stuck in practice mode because that's kind of what we've been doing all year. So you just got to push through. I mean, girls are really excited to play, so you just got to look forward to that and get that motivation to get on the ice and start playing more games.
Coming up soon, the national tournament going to be here at the Mesa in Minot. Can you kind of talk about the opportunity you guys are presented with being able to host that tournament? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's a huge opportunity. Having it here in Minot, I like to win in front of your home crowd. Like, that's something I think we all want and hope that we are going to be able to do. It's just a better motivation for us. Previous years, no one's ever really hosted the tournament as a team playing in it, so that's really special for us to get to do that in our own rink. Just a little more comfortability, that we have having it here. Not going to play somewhere else, some random rinks. Some of the rinks we've played in the past haven't been the greatest, so knowing that we have our own rink, our own locker room, I think it's going to be a big advantage for us.
Yeah, the expectation you get to stay home after a game, you
have
to go back to a hotel, there's less traveling overall. That's got to be a little bit easier on the minds of the team, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier this year. I mean, we don't have to travel as far, which in previous years we've had to travel 15 to 20 hours to go somewhere, so that's going to be really nice.
You've seen Liberty University comes in the #1 seed in the tournament. You guys are #2. What a tough game, overtime loss. Yeah. What do you take from that when you get ready for the Nationals?
I mean, Liberty's a very fast team, and we are a fast team as well, so we have a lot of similarities, and I think that's why that game went into such a went into 2 overtimes, because we are so similar. But we just really have to break that down and try to get more pucks on net. I mean, I think we need to do a better job of that because they did a really good job of that against us in that game. But again, we get to take that knowledge with us into the national tournament. So we've only faced them, I guess, twice in our history against them. But this game really, it's fresh in our minds, so we can take a lot from it to put into nationals.
And obviously, you can use that for scouting purposes. But one game at a time, right? You take your first opponent, and then you get ready for that. But you know what could be at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah, we want to look forward to that, but we have to take it one game at a time to get to that point.
And what will be the biggest key to get off to a good start?
I think getting off to a good start, starting that first period, that first game. I mean, we talked about this weekend taking each game a period at a time. So if we just focus on winning each period, I think that's going to help us get to that next level. We do have 3 games before the semifinals, so we just got to focus on winning those games and hope that we can get to that end point, but not look too far ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us again today. Just taking a little look back at the conference tournament, could you just kind of break those couple games down for us?
Yeah, no, of course. There was a lot of success there over the entire tournament. Going into that semifinal game against Lindenwood, previous in the regular season, we had dropped 2 at home. That was kind of a sore on our shoulders, and, we owed them one. Going into those games, we told the girls that it wasn't going to be a repeat of that series, and that, we were the better team. We just had to prove ourselves. So, I think there was a lot of energy, a lot of excitement and frustration as well going into that game. And the girls went out there and I'd say totally dominated. They won every battle. They were the faster team. We put pucks on net. We were crashing the net, that type of thing. And, at the end of the day, we got the result we wanted and, moving on to that conference finals. So in that second game, 2 very similar teams, in terms of speed, in terms of systems, those types of things. When you get into a double overtime at the end of the day, it really comes down to who has more gas in the tank. A bad bounce. Their player, had a good rush into our zone and just snuck it in, and those types of things happen. But it's tough. It's a tough loss, especially when it's a championship game where there is a trophy at the end of it. But it'll be good preparation going into this national tournament. We've only faced them twice in our history, and we're still looking for our first win against them. And it would be sweet to get there at the end of the road of this national tournament and see them again. And except we would be the ones holding that trophy. So.
Talk about your goaltending. Jordan Ivanka with 41 saves against Liberty. What a performance by her. She's been playing really well lately.
Yeah, no, of course. So Jordan's been consistent all season. The biggest thing with her is we never really saw her break out into what we knew she could do. I wouldn't say there was a ton of pressure on her going into this tournament, but she knew that, she was going to be playing two of the top teams in the country alongside us. So her preparation and her effort in those two games was definitely helped our team to get where we were. She made the key saves in those games, and she made some big saves as well. But keeping the puck out of the back of the net for our forwards to go down and score at the other end, really put us in a good spot. Now, 44 saves in that final game. She played outstanding, and all we can really say at the end of the day is that we hope and to see that same performance and same effort here come national tournament.
Looking forward to nationals, like you just mentioned, hosted here in Minot. What's that like from a coach's perspective for just the overall state of the program?
Yeah, of course. We've been growing every year here for the last few years. Every year we've kind of gained more community support, more recognition, more people showing up to the rink to watch us play. The opportunity to host at home, and get the community involved, get people out is going to be huge for us. This past weekend, for example, we went into a tournament where we had no fans. So at the end of the day, when you're playing hockey games, the crowds do make a difference. It helps build energy, and the fact that we're going to be able to play in front of our home community and try and get as many people here as we can is huge for us. Hopefully that'll give the girls the motivation, to succeed each game. And, we're winning it for ourselves, but we're winning it for the school. We're winning it for the community, and that's kind of our goal going into it. So.
And obviously, the end goal is to hoist that national championship trophy. But if that does not happen, given everything that's occurred in the off season earlier this fall, the rearranging of your schedule and things like that, would you view this season as an overall success?
It's been a successful season so far, but our end goal is not done yet. We got games this weekend for a tune-up, and then we got 5 games in 5 days at the national tournament. I'm not going to talk about the success of the season until the end result, but at the end of the day, we're going to be preparing for those games, and how we finish is kind of going to be what this season is labeled as. So,
what kind of challenge does that slate approach? 5 games, five games in 5 days. How does it change your preparation?
It really those games. It's not even going to. Obviously, we're going to have to perform on the ice, but it's really going to come down to off ice recovery, the food that's put in their bodies, the extra little things like stretching and making sure that we're taking care of ourselves off the ice. Because we're playing in the round robin. We're playing 3 top teams that are going to be. Every game's going to be a challenge to win, so we got to get through one game at a time, but at the same time focusing on the in-between and what we do off the ice to prepare for that next game is really what's going to set us apart from everyone else. I think we have an action plan going into this tournament with our athletic trainer, and if all prevails, the girls obviously they're going to start to get tired, legs are going to start to get sore as the tournament continues, but as long as we do everything we can to prepare for each game and the next after that, it's going to be survival of the fittest.
With these next couple tune-up games against DCB, will you be What's your game plan going into those? Is it going to be more of just a strict preparation for nationals, or what's going to look like?
So the idea behind these games this weekend is, we're probably going to give our forwards and our D, who have really, gotten a lot of ice time this year, give them some rest, whether it's scratching them both one game or both games. The big idea for this weekend is to see where our third and fourth lines line up, who are going to be those players that we can put out there in the national tournament or dress in the national tournament for when, our top lines aren't going and producing, but so necessarily, who are we going to put on the ice to not necessarily score a goal, but make sure that we don't get scored on. So this is kind of going to be a weekend to see who steps up in terms of that, and so we can kind of find those 6 or 7 players that we feel comfortable with dressing every game against those top teams, knowing that they're going to play their role, they're going to do their part to allow their other teammates, to produce goals and those types of things. So,
all right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.